It's Easter week. It's Wednesday of Easter week, and the first and most prevalent thing in my mind is connecting the suffering that I sense that we're in. And I say suffering, and then I think instantly, is it really suffering? But I've heard some really great, I would say, people who are way more in tune with trauma, and the fact that not all trauma is like the most life devastating trauma. Some of it can be incremental in the smallest way that you wake up and go, I don't feel the same as I did yesterday. And it's not better. It's not, we didn't wake up today feeling better than I did yesterday. I feel different. And maybe you could classify it as worse. But all of it is in the category of suffering, because here's what it's not. It's not in the category of thriving, right? Doing exuberantly better than if you weren't in this situation, let's say with a bunch of people, innovating a thing on your own without the regulations that are set on top of you in this particular season. And all of that is a degree of suffering, right? I don't think anybody would argue with that. I was reminded this week that Christ suffered the most. So in my current suffering, there is a dotted line to Jesus's suffering. And the degree of difference between my suffering and Jesus's suffering is a galaxy apart. But for whatever reason, God chose for all of humanity to be in a moment of suffering. And it makes me like swallow a big lump in my throat, because if you go to a really quiet place, you realize that God loves you enough to let you experience even a shred of a percentage of what he experienced to the fullest, right? His suffering was beyond for all humanity. And I'm only suffering a little bit according to my own life with all humanity. And I'm sure if you added up every human's experience of suffering in this moment, it still wouldn't be even close to what Jesus carried. And I'm just in that this week. And I'm way more tender than I usually am, because I've gotten rid of a lot of the noise that I usually find getting the best of me. So I think it's okay. And I think that it requires sitting inside of. And when you feel like you're not the best version of yourself, I have found myself giving that just back to Jesus, and saying, you've made me, you know me. That is a promise I read in the book of Psalm. So you can minister to me. And gosh, that feels so good, because I don't even think I know how to minister to myself in this moment. But because Jesus knows me and he made me, he knows how. I think of the things that I know for my child that my child does not know for himself. And then I just take this great amount of joy knowing that I am God's child. And he knows for me and about me in ways that I don't know for me and about me. And so as I make my way to Easter this week, I'm a total wreck, but I'm also happy that I'm a total wreck in God's hands. And I don't know what I'm preaching yet. I don't know if the efforts we're trying to build to make a great digital Easter is going to be pulled off. Those are all auxiliary things. What is real is what I feel and where I know I am with my Maker. And today that's suffering some in light of remembering his ultimate suffering. Happy Easter. So that's me.